Hi, and welcome to Prone's Mixed Bag Show. And on today's show, we have a very, very special guest. I mean, this guy has done so much great music. Not only was he in an amazing band, or should I say bands, because it's not just one band, and also an amazing solo career, which is still going strong right now and for the future. We have none other than Felton Pilate on the show.
It's
Welcome.
it's it, it's Pilot, and thank you so much for having me.
And I knew I'd get it wrong because I am terrible with names. So
No problem.
it's a real pleasure to have you. How's your day been so far?
Wow, I had a very productive day so far. I finished mixing another mix for a client. I started writing a Christmas song, so I'm having a great day. Very productive so far.
Superb that you're on it. Then that's really good. This is a time to get it done. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I mean, you've had quite an amazing career in music. And this question I usually ask right at the beginning of my interviews is, where exactly did it start for you? And I'm going way back, even if it's a school playground. Just where did it start? Where you realised you had a skill?
There's been a piano in my house for as far back as I can remember. I can remember back to being 4 years old when I was living with my grandmother. And yes, she had a piano in the house, and I was always tinkering with it. I wanted to play drums. So in fifth grade, I auditioned for the elementary school band, and they said I did well. They had too many drummers, so they assigned me a different instrument, trumpet. So then I took trumpet lessons. I then took private trumpet lessons for a while. But then I wanted to play piano, so then my mother gave me private piano lessons. It didn't dawn on me that I wanted to perform until it was a junior high school dance and my first time singing a live band. And I remember spending the entire evening just standing there watching that band perform. I mean, all 3 hours. Didn't dance, didn't look. I was like transfixed, amazed at that energy I was watching on stage. And that was my first inkling that that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know how. I just I just knew I wanted to do it.
Oh, that's cool.
I was asked.
Remember the band's name?
Yeah. I taught myself how to play guitar, and while I was learning, I was asked to join someone else's band when I was 16. And we were literally just getting started. The fellow asked me to join. Was playing keyboards, and there was a song we were learning, and I told him that it's my first band. I don't understand the protocol of how that works, but I said, "Oh, I love that song. Let me sing it." And he was like, "Yeah, okay. Tell me, why don't you come audition?" So it was a Saturday. So I remember walking around to his house, and he played piano and I sang. And he told me, Felton, if I were you, I would stick to playing guitar because you'll never ever make it as a singer.
Huh.
To this day, I thank him for that inspiring speech, because that inspired me to quit and start my own band where I would be singing lead vocals. And it's because I did that is how Michael Cooper, who then had his own band called Project Soul. When my band broke up, Michael Cooper asked me to join his band called Project Soul. I willingly agreed, and Project Soul later became Con-Funk-Shun.
Wow, so they were the same band, because I know Project Soul, because that 45's been on my lookout list since forever. I've never found one. It must have been some private press, because there's none about. There's Ebony. Ebony's such a funky track.
Ebony,
and the other side as well, it's just a smooth track. Is it
Sweet Things of Life?
That's it. Awesome. I'm going to find it one day. That's my mission. All of this has been a mission. Some of them are a bit more obvious, but there's some real treats in there that I dug deep for.
Man, I'm admiring your collection, man. That's extensive, man. That's great.
Thank you, thank you. And talking of records, this record here, I wonder if this would mean anything to you. A bit cheeky.
Yes, it would. When we were called Project Soul, we managed to get a record deal while we were living in Memphis, Tennessee.
Right.
And they at some point said, okay, now that we have signed you, we want to talk to you about your name. We're concerned that Project Soul, the name Soul in the title might be a little limiting, so you might want to consider changing your name. So we brainstormed, argued, fought, and then someone suggested a name. Well, now let me go way back.
Yeah.
Before I joined Project Soul, or on a gig where they did, Michael always talks about how they were opening for the Nightlighters at a gig that Project Soul was doing in Sacramento. And the Nightlighters horn section was out at the pool going over these horn parts for a song. And Michael describes it, and it was funky, and he loved it. And I think they asked him what the name of the song was, and they said the name of the song was Con-Funk-Shun.
Yeah.
So very significant. So when it came time for us to change our name, and someone in the meeting said, well, how about Con-Funk-Shun, the name of that song, that blah blah blah, and everyone went, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
So it was quite significant. So thank you, Nightlighters. So we borrowed.
That's good. A lot of bands have done that. That's good. I could think of a British band that did that. They took the title Light of the World. They're called Light of the World. Well, they got that off Cool of the Gang. Cool of the Gang's album Light of the World. So yeah.
We then, when we did Con-Funk-Shun, did a album 7 years ago.
Right.
We then recorded a song and we called it Nightlighter.
Oh, really? Oh, I need to check that. And for the benefit of the listeners, I just held up a copy of the Nightlighters' first LP, and that's what I was doing. So I'm just putting that out there to the listeners. But those visual watching later on in YouTube, they'll see the album. But they're an amazing band. I mean, they're one of my favourite instrumental bands. And then
Also,
of course, New Birth were affiliated with them, weren't they, as well?
Also, for those who don't know, the Nightlighters were the backup band for New Birth.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Right.
I can understand it. When I heard that version, it blew my mind. And then they were on the soundtrack for Gordon's War as well, the film Gordon's War. Yeah. But anyway, going back to your good self, my first record I bought by Con-Funk-Shun was a 45 called Clique.
Right.
I love that record. I still play it. It in my funk sets. I love it.
Thank you. That was on Freetone Records.
Yes.
Right? And that was the record company that we had signed with. Freetone was established by a young lady named Estelle Axton.
Right.
And years before, Miss Axton had gotten together with her brother, Jim Stewart, to form a record company. And to name the company, they took the first two letters of his last name and the first two letters of her last name, and thus we have Stax.
Ah, right, okay.
They were the founders of Stax Records. Somehow they ended up parting companies, so she left. So she started her own record company, and we were one of the first artists signed to that label, Freetone.
Right,
I think at the time there was one other artist that was a local DJ in Memphis who had a single, a unique song called Disco Duck.
Oh yeah, hang on, who was that again?
His name is Rick Dees. It had it was a huge song. Again, it was a Megan Seller, but that was his only record. But yeah, that was our first recording, first release on I think the
Oh,
backside was a song called "Now and Forever." Yeah.
right. Oh, look out. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So you, of course, you would have been with Stax when you were doing backup for Soul Children, am I right? Or were you not
No,
with them? You were just...
no. We when the Soul Children picked us up as their backup band, no, we were just their backup band for live performances.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
Now, once we had been introduced to the Stax people,
Yeah.
uh, they picked out our drummer Lewis McCall, our guitar
Right.
player Michael Cooper, and myself on keyboards, as
Right.
opposed to trombone, to be
Right.
staff musicians in Studio C at Stax Records for at least a year, maybe year and a half. That was a wonderful education, working with artists who came in who had a song in their head, and they would communicate their ideas to us, and we would, translate that into musical instruments. A guy come in now on a bass line and goes dun 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 dun, and he'd sing it to us. Okay, we figure it out, and
Wow.
so we wound up doing some great, writers named Carl Hampton and Homer Banks, who
Right.
wrote "If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right."
Oh,
I
that's an
think
awesome song.
we played. I remember distinctly. We played on the original demo for "What Do the Lonely Do at Christmas," a song that they had written for the Emotions, and so it was fun because after we recorded the instruments, they brought us into singing backgrounds. So we worked
Wow.
for Sir Mac Rice, I think, who wrote "Cheaper to Keeper." It was a wonderful time. Great education.
And then, of course, there was what Stax as well. Mind
We
blowing.
were hired somewhere between August 2nd and 4th of 1972 by the Soul Children.
Right. Okay.
3 weeks later, now we're just their backup band. Now, we're used to just playing local gigs, the army bases and local nightclubs. But 3 weeks after we got with the Soul Children, they told us, well, now we're going to do, a live album and film a movie at the same time in front of 104,000 people at the LA Coliseum. We had met Rufus Thomas a year before, and he heard that we were now working with the Soldier, and he asked us to back him up. So we ended up playing also behind Rufus Thomas on the Watts Stax movie. So those skinny guys with hair standing behind Rufus Thomas, that's Project Soul.
Amazing. I'm going to watch it again. I must have watched it so many times, but you're the second person I've interviewed that was there. I interviewed Larry D not too long ago.
Okay.
And actually, going quite a way back, I interviewed someone that worked for Stax, Stephen Buckley. I don't know if you know him.
I don't.
I think he went on to work for Motown, and he was head of A&R there, but he came from Stax, and he was talking about what Stax and some other bands like 24 Karat Black and all those guys from back in the day, and we had an awesome chat. We got very deep, but what an awesome era that was. And man, you look so good.
Well, thank you.
You were there then? You sure you weren't born after? We're the same age.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm 21.
Okay, well, I'm only 20. So, I get it. I'm living a good life, man. I'm happy, and things are going well. So I feel good on the inside. So hopefully that's what's showing on the outside.
Definitely. It is. You're beaming, man. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Speaking of Larry D, I was standing on the side of the stage watching them do their performance at Watts Stax, which I think they did Son of Shaft.
Oh yeah! Wow.
I can actually remember watching the Barcades. That was a big inspiration for us as Project Soul. As far as their stage energy and how they commanded the stage and the spin, and watching them. So yeah, we thank Larry Dee and the Bar-Kays for being an inspiration.
Yeah, they're awesome. Oh, lovely guy as well. Lovely guy, really, really cool. So, no, that's really good. It's just a great piece of history, and I think it really did get the ball rolling for so many different things. I just love all the social commentary as well, surrounded by everything. The shots of the guys having their hair done in the barbers and the locals talking. Man, what a lovely time capsule. It's just brilliant. So you went on with Con-Funk-Shun. You had loads of albums, and loads of great singles. I mean, obviously, you've got people covering your stuff as well and bringing a new audience in. And I mentioned Silk Sonic.
Right.
Lovely.
That was a pleasant surprise on Valentine's Day. Mike called me, "Hey, man, have you heard this?" "Heard what?" "Man, I'm about to send you this link." So I clicked on it, and I was like, "What?" I was blown away the first time I heard it. Now years earlier, I think back in '97, I think it was Drew Hill had covered the song.
Oh, right, okay.
And we knew ahead of time that was coming, right?
Yeah.
But this was a total surprise, and it blew me away. I mean, the first verse, I was like, "Dang, they sound just like the original record," And I love how they stayed true to the original emotion of the original recording, while adding their spin on it later in the record. I think they did a wonderful job. Mike and I had a chance to fly out to Las Vegas, go and thank them, Bruno Mars and Impact, in person.
Great, that's so good.
And we stayed for the show, and it was that was my first time seeing another artist performing one of my songs on stage, with an audience that large. That was a very emotional experience, man. That was my first time, and it's hard to describe. That was a first for me.
That's definitely a memorable moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and wonderful guys. We met them before the show. Great personalities. They were very welcoming. We found out that they were just as excited to meet us as we were to meet them. So, night to remember.
And so they should be as well. That is awesome. I mean, with all these hits you've had, is there a favourite track with your band that you like? I mean, a lot of songs. I mean, there's loads. I mean, there's so many.
My favorite is actually "Got to Be Enough." That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Up-tempo song. My favorite ballad-ish is actually from the same album, "By Your Side."
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's those my and they just happen to be from the same album, the Spirit of Love LP.
Oh, wonderful. No, that's awesome. I always like to ask an artist what their favourite song is, and I find normally it's never the biggest hit. It's always something else, but it's still a hit, but it's not usually the most biggest hit,
Right.
And you've had quite a few hits over the years.
I've been blessed, man. It's been
very
great. Yeah, we did 10 albums for Polygram in the 70s and 80s. And then while that was still going on, I had a chance to write for other artists. I had a chance to write the title track on one of George Duke's albums.
Oh, right, okay.
Called Dream On.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow, okay, you're behind that. Great.
There's a blues artist named Jesse James. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
That is Jesse James. Yeah.
A song called I Can Do Bad by Myself. So I co-wrote and produced that. had a chance to work with Club Nouveau.
Oh, yeah, I remember them. They did a cover of something. I remember it was.
Lean on Me.
That was it. Yeah, that's the group. Yeah.
When they were fledgling artists, so I had them in my studio. E40.
All right. Wow.
Had a chance to work with him. So yeah, it's been fortunate. I do have to tell you that when I started working with just after I left Con-Funk-Shun, I had opened up a recording studio and went into producing full time. That's all I did, right? And I was working with a guy named Stanley Burrell, who called himself the Holy Ghost Boy.
Right.
And he was doing Christian flavored rap, very positive, no cursing, very, very positive direction. Like I said, called himself the Holy Ghost Boy. We did a 10-song demo. Well, it was a demo in my mind. I gave him some rough mixes, sent him on his way. And he called me.
I think I know who this is.
Yeah, he called me a year, 2 years later. Felton, the record went gold. I was like, what record? Oh, the record we did. I'm like, dude, those were rough mixes. You were supposed to come back and let me fix it up. Nah, man. Record company liked it just like it is. Oh. My new name is MC Hammer.
There you go.
Right. So he wound up literally buying me out of my studio and taking it out of the road. Took me and my second engineer in my studio, James Early. So we closed down the studio, and James and I went out to go work for Hammer exclusively, which is how we wound up producing You Can't Touch This. Which we recorded on a tour bus.
I knew that.
We bought a 16-track reel-to-reel. We had a 20-channel console. We had 2 compressors, 1 keyboard, 2 noise gates, and a microphone. Wow. And made the entire project. We recorded and mixed the entire project on the bus.
Wow. That's on the bus as well.
On the bus, right.
Did you have an MPC or anything there as well?
No.
Just completely just real.
We had a Roland W30 sampling keyboard.
Oh, right. Okay. Great. Yeah, right. I know that.
I hadn't bought my VC60 yet, but we used that keyboard, and we had a Mac SE30 computer running Performer.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's going back.
So we, made it work, man.
It worked. You can't knock the formula. It worked.
Yeah. So very blessed. I think that last time was over 50 million sales.
Wow. And he gave his life to Christ, and now he's a preacher. Am I right?
He is no longer.
Okay.
Explanation for it, but last we talked, he was still going out and doing occasional concerts.
Fair enough. Music is
right.
Brilliant. So, what would you say is the most memorable or favourite, should I say favourite gig that you've ever done, and you thought, this is it, this is just wonderful?
The one that we mentioned before, that performance at Watt Stacks.
Oh yeah.
That was huge. That was huge. That's the largest audience that we performed for. Once we became Con-Funk-Shun, a concert that stands out of my head was one of the concerts that we did on our headline tour, where we were headlining with the Gap Band, McFadden and Whitehead, and Anita Ward.
Oh, nice.
And we did a concert at the Omni Theater at the Omni in Atlanta and sold it out. That's success. That's success.
That's quite a few seats. That's a big place.
Yeah, yeah. But those are the two big ones, you know.
And now you've got an excellent solo project. Do you want to give us a little bit of info about what you're doing now?
Well, I had a chance to do one. Well, I wouldn't say chance. I had to take Mr. Hammer to court
Oh, wow.
for some money that he owed me.
Okay.
And that was, and I won.
Good for you. That's good.
And but then well, no, because then he filed for bankruptcy.
Oh.
And then I had spent so much money in lawyers. I had to file for bankruptcy. I was not able to. Right. And the album that I did back then was me at my low point. I loved the project. It came out. It was called Nothing But Love Spoken Here.
Right.
And very, 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 very proud of it. But that was probably done at a low point in my life, and music was all that I had. I'm working on a new project now. I've had 2 releases. 2 songs I know did well over there. A song called "We're Still Here,"
Right.
and a song called "Waiting Just to Dance," which came out during the COVID, and the "Waiting Just to Dance" was just a metaphor for I'm tired of sitting home. I'm waiting to get back into the world.
Yes.
Let's get back to it. I released a song a couple of weeks ago called "Here's What I Do For You."
And I've been spinning that. It's a great song.
Thank you.
It sounds so authentic. What I like about it is you've really kept the class there, and it just sounds. You can tell when someone has just done music for the sake of doing music, but no, it's lovely. The production's really nice. I like everything about that song. It's great.
Thank you. And so I'm in the studio now, finishing up that project. Well, I'm also finishing up the Christmas album for Con-Funk-Shun that we started last year, and a new additional project for Con-Funk-Shun that we're trying to have ready for Valentine's Day for next year. So I got a lot of stuff going on.
So what's your favorite thing you like doing? I mean, you do so many things. You can sing, you play various instruments. What's your favorite? What do you like doing best?
Keyboards is my main thing. I love playing guitar, although I'm not as good as that.
Yeah.
I'm playing it, but I enjoy the creative process. Just getting in the studio and figuring out ways to make it work. I've always enjoyed puzzles, growing up.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a puzzle for me. Something I do just as a challenge. I'll, when I get clients, and I still do outside production. For new clients, I'll have them give me the last 4 digits of their phone number, and we use the first 15 minutes of the recording session, just an experiment, and we'll create a song based on the last 4 digits of their phone number.
That's
just
good.
A little mental exercise. Just
that's
fun.
Really good. I like that. That's a brilliant idea. So you've got all these projects lined up for the future. You're doing great stuff now. I was going to go back to COVID and ask what you were doing during that time, but it seems like you were busy with music, which sounds good. Am I right?
Yeah.
Were you all through with that?
Yeah. COVID. Yeah. Out of the 20 songs that I've already recorded for my CD, I'd say 2/3 of them were done during COVID. So COVID was actually a very productive time for me. We didn't have these function concerts, but I've got a studio in my house, so come down in my pajamas and just
That's what to do.
make it work.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And a lot of artists have done that. Some people have ended up painting their fence or doing things on a long list. I did some music as well. I'm a musician as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I play Latin percussion. I play in funny enough, I used to be in a band. It's no longer together, and it has a very similar name. It was called Funk-Shun.
Okay. How was it spelled?
Funkshone. So similar sounding.
Okay.
But it was Funk-Shun, and we were like a 9-piece. We had a horn section. We did some great gigs. Blackbirds, the JBs. We supported them, and we had our own stuff out. And then it just fizzled. It fizzled. But I worked with Gina, who's interviewed you for the Indie Post. My wife. Okay. We work together. She's a singer, and we both produce as well. So, yeah. So we're heavily influenced by a lot of artists we talk to, and it's been an honour talking to you today.
Thank you, and thank you again for having me.
It really, really has, and I just wanted to ask. But yeah, one question I really wanted to ask is, what advice do you have to someone that is just coming into the music business?
The single most advice that someone gave me was, it's called the music business for a reason.
Yes, it is.
It's not called the music game. It's not called the music emotion. It's called the music business, right? And he said, if you learn that and respect that, you'll survive.
Yeah.
Survive.
No, that's a good bit of advice. They're two separate words, but they have to remain together to get through, don't they?
That's true. That is true. There's so much that has to be done business-wise, just to make sure that the music part is seen and appreciated. It's so much more than just playing your instrument. It's if you're looking to make a living at it, I can honestly say that music has been my only source of income since 1972.
Amazing.
And it was, I've had my bumps in the road, but while you're having fun playing the music, you still got to deal with the business.
That's really good. I was in a band in the 90s, a different band, and we had a very bad record deal and a very bad experience, but I learned a lot from it. I learned an awful lot from it. There's not a lot of labels about now, though. It's very different.
Oh my God, that part of the business has changed drastically. Yeah.
Streaming now.
Most record companies are acting more as distributors.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it's a different ball game out there.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Well, yeah, thanks again so much for coming in and for giving up your time to be with us and share your story. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you.
It was my pleasure, and let's do it again.
Let's do it again. We'll get an update soon.
Okay.
And God bless you.
All right. Take care, man.
You're listening to Indie Soul Radio with DJ Prone, spinning the best independent soul school tunes. It's Indie Soul Radio. Let us put you in the mix.